Hello, I'm TL and welcome to Cooking Love. Today I'm going to be baking a pistachio loaf cake. It's really delicious. I've made it for several occasions and I always get compliments on it. It's not too sweet, it's really flavorful. And I got the recipe out of my favorite cookbook, Molly on the Range. If you don't know about this, there's so many great recipes in here and I have loved every one I've made. So I highly recommend it. Okay, let's get baking. I'm starting with 1.5 cups of roasted pistachios. Using my Vitamix, I'm going to blend this into a fine crumb. You don't want to overblend because then it will turn into butter, but this looks good. My pistachios are finely ground and I measured out 1.5 cups and I'm going to pour into a larger bowl. And the rest of it I just set aside because I'm going to be using them as a crumble on the top of the cake. I did the same thing to almonds. I made finely ground almonds and I measured out 1/2 cup of the finely ground almonds. Pistachios and almonds together, so wonderful. Teaspoon of salt. And 1/2 cup of flour. I'll mix that together and then start getting my wet ingredients ready. Using my food processor, I'm going to add 2 sticks of butter at room temperature and 1.5 cups of sugar. And I will whisk that together before I start adding the eggs. As I'm blending this together to get the butter and the sugar creamy, I'm adding 4 eggs one at a time. I'm going to add in 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract and zest 1/2 lemon.
Here you go. I just pulled this lemon right off the tree.
Thank you, fresh right off the tree, awesome. I'm gonna grate 1/2 of this and add it to the mixture. I think that's one of my favorite smells is fresh lemon, just love it. Okay, so that's incorporated. Now what I'm going to do is I'm taking my mixture of the crushed nuts and flour and salt, and I'm going to be adding that into my wet mixture a little bit at a time. So I have generously greased my pan and I also lined it at the bottom with some parchment paper. My oven has preheated to 350. I'm going to pour in my mixture. It's a thick mixture. And I'll get that ready to go into the oven. And this is ready to go into the oven for 45 minutes to an hour. Okay, it's ready, I'm putting it in, and I can't resist to take a little taste. The batter is so good. It's so flavorful and lemony, and you can really taste the pistachios. It's delicious, so I know the cake will be too. It's very dense, so even though it says 45 minutes, I usually end up cooking it a lot longer, so we'll see. There we go. While the cake is in the oven, I'm making a glaze. I have a tablespoon of fresh squeezed lemon juice, and I grated the other half of the lemon, and I'm adding in half a cup of powdered sugar. And I'll just blend that together for a very lemony glaze over the top. And I also have the extra pistachio crumbs to sprinkle on top of the glaze. It smells great. And here it is. I'm gonna let this cool before I put the glaze on, but it was in the oven for, I would say, about an hour and 20 minutes. So it's quite a lot longer period of time than the recommended 45 minutes. I think that was just to start testing it and seeing when you got a clean knife. But it did take a lot longer. So I think it's because it's so dense, but it's worth it. This cake does come out dark, but you do have to cook it quite a lot longer than you would think, because the knife just doesn't come out cleanly. So it's cooling, and I'm just gonna drizzle a little bit of the glaze on it for right now, and then I'll let it cool a little longer and I'll put on more glaze. After the glaze is on, I'm going to sprinkle on the last of the crumbles of the pistachio, the roasted pistachio nuts. Just gonna get that evenly spread. Happy birthday to you.
Aw, thank you. Thank you so much, Terry.
You want to blow? Happy birthday.
Thank you. And that is a coronavirus-free blow on that cake.